Hi, and welcome to the Bee's Knees podcast. This is PJ Ewing, your host. Today I have an interview for you with a bilateral total knee replacement patient named Melissa. Melissa is age 47, so she's very much on the young side of things. And we catch up with Melissa 4 weeks after her surgery. She's from Maryland. She's in a lovely setting outside. Sun is shining, butterflies and bees, and, the perfect late summer afternoon, early fall. And we have her comments about the surgery, the preparation for the surgery with her Peloton bike, the surgeon himself, who she really, really liked, and then getting on the X10 machine, and then the other physical therapy that she did to really be, I wouldn't say done at 4 weeks post-surgery, but, way ahead of her class and, really just needing to focus on strength and ongoing daily work for, another month. And she really will be done and back to her normal self. She is on her Peloton bike now after the 3 to 4 week period post-surgery. And she credits, a great plan in advance of surgery, having the right tools in her house, good physical therapy, and really a will to succeed. Particularly as she's so young, she's got a lot of mileage ahead of her on those knees, and she needs to make this a success. So let's listen to Melissa share her comments about her recovery. Pretty unique case, although I will say that we've written a lot about the trend toward both bilateral surgeries as well as younger surgeries and even younger bilateral surgeries. So Melissa is kind of a poster child for a few trends that are going on for people who end up needing work earlier and may need it on both knees. So here we go. This is Melissa from Maryland talking about bilateral knee replacement and recovery.
Welcome to The Bee's Knees, a podcast full of articles, interviews, clinical studies, and advice about knee surgery, physical therapy, and life after knee surgery.
My name is Melissa. I'm 47 years old, and I had bilateral knee replacement surgery 4 weeks ago. And I used the X10 the day that I returned home from the hospital. And now 4 weeks later, I'm able to walk without the aid of a cane or any other device, and I'm looking forward to having my new knees. So I started having knee problems at 35, and I had been doing a class at the gym on a treadmill, and the next day my knees just blew up, and I figured I tore something. So I saw an orthopedist and was told that my knees were twice my age and that I was way too young right now, but someday I'd need a knee replacement, and I was advised take ibuprofen and just deal with it. So over the years, I saw an orthopedist, a rheumatologist I even did. I had injections and shots and all of that to try to manage the pain. And particularly at that age, I was quite active, and I wasn't able to run anymore. I had pain just standing up from a chair because they'd be so stiff. I would have pain during the night. And I think with arthritis, it ebbs and flows a bit. I had a period of years where I felt like I was managing it quite well, and I wasn't seeing any doctors or having any injections at that point. And I would have copious amounts of ibuprofen, but I was mobile. I was able to do most of the things I wanted to do, but certainly not everything that somebody my age could do. Then about a year ago, they started getting fussier, and I was experiencing significantly more pain, and I sought out another orthopedist. And I was fully expecting just to get some shots and to be told again that I was not a candidate for total knee replacement. And I went in, and by this time I was 46, and Dr. Winokur came in, and I said, look, I know I can't have a knee replacement, but is there something? And he had taken my x-rays, and he says, oh no, you are a candidate. He says, if you want a knee replacement, you just let me know. But it's completely your decision, and you'll know when the time is right. So that was kind of a revelation to me. Nonetheless, I did go through a series of cortisone shots, which helped for a time. It's a short time. And after having conversations with him about what was involved with knee replacement, I decided, and he had said to me, it's a quality of life issue. And the implants are getting better and better every year. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done being this constrained at this age. I want to be able to be more active and just walk my dog pain-free. So I thought, okay, I'm definitely going to do it. So then the question was, do I do one or both knees? And Dr. Winokur felt very strongly, given my age and fitness prior to surgery, that I was an absolute candidate for bilateral. And to me, that sounded like a more pragmatic approach anyway. It's one and done. So I went for it, and I'm glad I did it that way. One of my big surprises is that, at least in my experience, it wasn't this horrible, painful, awful thing that so many people warned me about. Actually, prior to surgery, I was a little nervous because so many people said I was crazy. But in the hospital I went to, St. Joseph's Medical Center, was great. My pain was managed well in the hospital, and by the time I got home, I was very able to keep track of it. And like I said, I got on the X10 immediately, and I think just having something that I could do for myself to move toward healing was great psychologically, and the fact that the machine just promotes the swelling to reduce and the movement, I think just put that together, and it ended up being a pretty painless process. In fact, one of the most surprising things to me through this whole surgery was what happens to your muscles. It was crazy. It was almost like they were paralyzed at first. And I was somebody that most of my strength was in my legs. And to have them turn to mush was extraordinary and disconcerting, to say the least. And it, through the help of the physical therapist at home, who helped me just get my head how to fire those muscles up, we started doing work there. And then we moved on to those dynamic exercises on the X10. Primarily the pump test was where you're pushing down against weight to try to just get the quadriceps back in the game. And it took more time than I thought it was going to be honest. So now that I've finished up with the X10, I'm lucky that I have a Peloton bike, and that was something that I was avid about prior to surgery, and I've already started using it a bit, and so I will just fall into that pattern now that I don't have the X10. My daily routine will be to take a class on my stationary bike, and of course doing the physical therapist exercises. They give you plenty to work on, so I'll do that too. We're lucky in this area. There's a lot of good medical out there for a person. However, the research I did, Towson Orthopedics is one of the names that absolutely pops up as being one of the premier organizations in town for orthopedics. So I called them and was assigned to Dr. Winokur, and right from the get-go, I liked his style. He didn't rush me at all. He answered all of my ridiculous questions. He spent plenty of time with me, and just was very pragmatic about it too. So I immediately felt good with him, and like I said, I went through a series of shots with him as well. Nonetheless, I did get a second opinion, as everybody advises to do, and I went to the other big organization around here that everybody goes to for orthopedics. And the surgeon was a very nice guy, but I felt like this other organization was just a machine. Like, you walked in and you were like cattle, and they herded you through, and you mostly spent time with a PA. And that's not how Towson Orthopedics was. It was a much more, the surgeon spent time with you, and it was more hands-on. And so that's ultimately, and both surgeons said the same thing to me, that I was a candidate for bilateral. So the information was the same, and I felt I felt a better connection with Dr. Winokur is the bottom line. And I'm real happy I did, because the hospital that they work out of, I had a great experience with as well. I hadn't been in a hospital since I had babies, and that's 12 years ago, and it's more consumer driven now, I think. And it was a wonderful, way better experience than I'd imagined it would be. What worked best for me was 2 sessions of 45 minutes on each leg. So, and that's a big chunk of time when you've got 2 legs. I did toy around trying 3 30-minute sessions once, and it ended up I just preferred a morning and a late afternoon session. So I do 45 minutes on one leg, ice, 45 minutes on the next leg, and ice. And after a 45-minute time, I felt like that was enough time to really get your joint loose and push your range of motion a bit. And I would a little bit, nothing, but not to where I was screaming out in pain at all. I mean, it's just that, like, breathe through it kind of pain is all. Nothing at all terrible. And if that's too much, you can back off. So the big turning point for me came at the end of week 2, when she moved me from a walker to a cane. And that made me feel like I had a lot more freedom and could get around better. And at that point, I was able to start driving too. And that was another big game changer. I mean, you start to feel a little bit more like yourself when you can have independence. And because I think I was excited by that, I did start cooking and laundry and being on my feet a lot more. Probably even a little too much a couple times, because you'd feel the tightness and the stiffness come back. But fortunately, I still had the X10 at that point, so I could loosen up my joints by doing a session with the range of motion on the X10, which kept me limber.
To learn more, visit x10therapy.com, 1-855-910-5633. Just a reminder, it's a huge help if you subscribe to, rate, and review our podcast. It helps people find us.
X10, back to full strength.